let's get into it. Who wants to go first? Because I can't.
Ian, you can go first.
Yeah, I have the most middling opinion. It's a fine movie. It's better than I remember, actually.
Hey!
I like Guy Pearce more than I did. It's a long time ago. What, 8 years now? 2013 or 14?
Yep, 8 years.
Yeah, it's been 8 years. Still don't like Ben Kingsley's character. Ben Kingsley's super talented. It's just his character's fucking stupid
Wasted
and annoying.
in this film.
Yep, absolutely. I like how Rhodey has stuff to do. Wish he had more to do. I agree with Mudd that they should have just given him a fucking suit during the fight. He's useful. He would have been able to get the president more effectively, and then it would have been fine. I think some of the writing is kind of like it's definitely not the best Marvel movie, but there's some cool fight scenes. Like the Iron Man suit fight scene is the best. Is the best fight scene in this movie, and one of the best scenes in this movie, and the best scene in this movie. I can't even say one of. It's the best scene in this movie. But I wouldn't have the gumption to say, oh, what a good villain that Guy Pearce is, because I think he's doing a good job acting, but I think the script for his characters, it's the same. He's Justin Hammer. He's other Iron Man villain. He's fucking businessman. Iron Man made me angry. Iron Man's afraid of me. Like, all that dumb garbage. Like, oh, I'm Mysterio, and I'm going to party and have my team of, I used to work for, fuck off. Do something different. And this is like the third time they've done it, so it's less annoying, but it's still the third time they've done it in 3 movies. It's annoying. Like, I think it's fine. Robert Downey Jr. does a great job. Rest in peace to his character, not him. He's fine.
He is physically fine.
Gwyneth Paltrow's there. Above mid, but not like good. I'd say 6. Like 6 out of 10. I'm gonna say it immediately. Okay. Normally I talk and we wait until the end. It's like, oh, yeah. I think it's 6. I think it is a mid-tier movie that has the elements to take it that one step above, but not to good. I think it's like decent. You know what? I'd probably watch it. If this was on the background, I wouldn't be like, oh, Iron Man 3 and change it. Okay. I'd be like, oh, Iron Man 3. That's a fine one, and probably keep it on in the background.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, I obviously picked it, so I have to go last. I'm going to defer to you if you guys want me to go ahead, because I feel very similar to Ian.
I think you should just go.
All right, I'm going to go real quick.
Yeah, because this is Mudd and Joquin discourse.
This point of this episode, the reason I picked it is because I wanted to hear what Mudd and Joquin have to say the most. So, yeah, if we're going to me second out of this 4, yeah, I feel very similar to Ian. I think this is it's a decent time. It's nowhere near the worst of Marvel. It's nowhere near the best of Marvel. And I think Ian voiced a lot of my opinions. I don't mind the story so much. I think it's a fine story, an okay villain. Extremis is a big thing in the comics. We all know that. So I get that.
Yeah, it just kind of goes away.
It does kind of go away.
The end of the movie sucks when she just gets cured for no reason.
That's tough.
It doesn't get brought up again.
There's a lot of like
the PTSD thing. Wish that came back. But
this is the first movie to me where Iron Man's tech started to become literally magic, because like the first 2,
I hard agree.
It's 90% practical and like 10% of like something extra.
It feels like the next kind of smart AI. You know what I mean?
In
the first 2, it feels like you guys remember in Her, like that one step above AI, like that Siri Plus kind of feel, where it's like it's kind of bullshit, but you can see it happening judging by the way tech's going. Yep. Jarvis in the first 2 Iron Man movies for me feels more like smart AI, and in this one he takes a step above smart AI, and I can still believe it because I think in the first 2 they do a really good job, but in this one it does feel a little less realistic.
It's okay, so the convention of Iron Man wiggling his fingers and the whole room lighting up with holograms and CGI, that's like, you either buy that or you don't. You kind of have to. And if you don't, you can't really watch the Iron Mans. You know, it's kind of just there. It's a staple of the thing. I get it. So that I'm slightly more forgiving on, because otherwise I just won't enjoy them. I'm not here to, again, remember in Jimmy Neutron when they didn't breathe in space? I'm not here to sit there and go, they didn't breathe in space, 0 out of 10. That's not my job.
It's a cartoon.
Yeah, exactly. It's the movie obviously doesn't care. I should, but at the same time, I want it to follow its own rules. Yes. So as long as it's not contradicting itself, which mostly it doesn't, it's fine. I'm going to go slightly higher. I give it a 7.
Okay.
That's just outside the realm of being great, but enough is here that bogs it down for me as just being an okay time. Like you said, if it's on the background, I'm not going to complain. Yeah. I'll half watch it and do something else.
A 6 and a 7 are very comparable for me personally.
Right.
I feel like the 7 falls into that category of, you know what? Yeah, I kind of like this one. And a 6 is more, it's fine. Don't hate it.
Well,
pretty decent.
If I'm being honest, I do kind of like this one. I think this is probably, of all the 25, 6, 7, whatever MCU movies, this is somewhere directly in the middle, maybe a little lower on the scale.
Yeah, I definitely didn't. I definitely like it more than I used to. I used to think it was like hard 5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you've gained respect. Okay.
Yeah,
I want to
no.
say I pretty much think now exactly what I thought. So with all that out of the way, who wants to go first?
I'll go again. So sorry.
I want Mud to go first.
Okay.
All right.
Because I feel like Mud's gonna interject with me. I'm not gonna Mud.
I will not
interject.
I
with
will
you.
not speak.
Just quiet.
Mud, if
So-
you have some points, I will interject politely and agree or disagree with you.
So
I'd like to do that.
the last time I watched this movie was in theaters, and I remember just hating it. And I can't say that I hate it still,
Okay.
but I definitely don't like it. The script is passable at best. The stories, shit just happens. I don't see anything in here where like Tony really like does anything to put like 2 and 5 together to like get through the plot. He just goes from scene to scene doing shit.
I can see that.
PTSD doesn't last.
Yep.
Like
Yeah, that kind of disappears halfway
it
through
just
the
kind
movie,
of
huh?
disappears. And yeah, you're right. His tech powers in this movie just go to fucking god mode to the point where it's like the whole point of the movie is like, oh, he's stripped of his god mode. But
I want to interject. I know I want to let you keep talking and stuff, but I think this movie is almost the worst of it, but it's outdone immediately by like Infinity War with the hoodie of nanites. That just
the hoodie of
takes
nanites
it
is pretty
so
fucking
far into
bad.
stupid territory.
Yeah, no.
But yeah,
There are some positives in this film, like Ian talked about. Rhodey's utilization in this film is a big positive for me because War Machine's actually one of my favorite MCU heroes,
Yeah, he's
or just
awesome.
Marvel heroes in general.
I think it's because of Don Cheadle and how endearing he is as
Yeah.
a
This
person.
would not work with Terrence Howard.
No,
Let's just get that out of the
Who
way.
the fuck's
But like
Terrence
I've also
Howard?
seen,
Exactly.
again, I've been exposed to Iron Man in other mediums, and
Yeah.
Rhodey always ends up being my favorite character.
Yeah.
But that being said, there's just a lot of stuff in this film. It's death by 1,000 cuts for me is what really
A lot of little stuff.
a lot of little shit in this
Yeah.
film just keeps piling on top of itself, and it ultimately just leaves me feeling empty. Like there's nothing here I really feel gets explored further on down the line. And you can say that about other MCU films, absolutely. You used to be able to say that about Thor: The Dark World, but Kevin Feige refuses to let that dog die.
it's back. Everywhere.
It's back. It's fucking back.
It's all over
wild.
Mud, to credit you here, a lot of the MCU films that I can say, oh, that one doesn't really connect here. It kind of gets forgotten about this, and this. Those are the ones I don't like as much.
Yeah, exactly. In an interconnected universe, the worst thing that can happen is something gets left behind.
Yep.
Because it's them telling you, yeah, that doesn't matter. I feel like Tony runs in place in this film.
Yeah.
He has a character arc, you're right. And if this was just a trilogy of like Iron Man movies, probably be a very good place to end him.
Yep.
But it's not.
He starts off the next movie
Right back
in
on
the
his
same
bullshit.
place
Well, okay.
that he started off.
I have
And then
to
in the
ask-
one directly after that, where he does the same thing and retires again, he does the same thing.
But I'd say it's
Yeah.
executed stronger in Civil War.
Can
Yeah,
I ask
oh, yeah.
I want to ask a question too. It's something that I know Joaquin brought up and he's going to bring up again. But do you blame Iron Man 3 for what 8 more Iron Man movies do?
I'm not sure. To be completely honest, I'm not sure where the fault lies because the
Okay.
MCU is still the first of this blasting through interconnected universe.
Yep.
And Iron Man 3 was the first to end a trilogy of films, and it had always
Right.
been a thing with, like, especially superhero movies. It's 3 movies. You get 3 movies. You
It
know?
does confuse me though because Shane Black and everyone involved knew he was going to be in Avengers 2 and 3.
Yeah, I think there maybe could have been more coordination between like
Right.
Whedon's team and Black's team to see like
Yeah.
where do you want Tony to start so we can make sure that like our arc ends with him there.
Right.
I think it just comes down to growing pains. That's what really makes Phase 2 my least favorite phase. Is there's a lot of growing pains.
Thor: The Dark World is why
Thor: The Dark
my
World's
least favorite
middling.
phase.
I mean, it's like 50-50 for me because like Thor: The Dark World and Iron Man 3 are 2 of my least favorites, and then you've got Winter Soldier and Guardians of the Galaxy, which,
Both bangers.
both bangers.
Oh yeah.
So I want to ask you, do you want to say your score now or defer to Joaquin?
Yeah, no, I will give my score.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It is a 3 out of 10.
Wow.
Ooh, what would you have given it before?
Probably like a 1 out of 10.
That's
It
So-
has improved.
Follow-up question, is it the worst one?
I would like to rewatch Thor: The Dark World.
No,
before
we don't want to
No.
rewatch Thor: The Dark World.
I kind of do.
Ian's recommendation.
I would like to
No.
rewatch Thor: The Dark World before I make a final ruling on
Okay.
that.
But maybe not?
But maybe not, because I do see value in this film that I might have written off at the time. You know, when I was like 15, a little shithead, and
I don't
like
blame you.
I didn't have the context of hindsight. Like now that I see, like for example, what they've done with Rhodey going on, I'm like, wow, this movie's fucking great with Rhodey.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
I don't blame you for feeling that bad in theaters though, because you went in expecting an awesome
I just saw the
Mandarin.
last movie I saw in theaters was like Avengers.
Right.
Let's fucking go.
Right. Exactly.
And I knew the Mandarin was going to be in it, and 15-year-old me had expectations for what the Mandarin would be.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the beginning, my biggest gripe, what made it my least favorite, was what they did with the Mandarin. At this point, I've made peace with it. I still don't agree with the treatment of his character, but whatever. Beyond that, I have more problems with it that still weigh the film down.
Can I pose a question for everybody? I know Mud's answer because he's gonna say yes. Is this the worst third Marvel movie?
The thing is, there's only 3 so far. It's Iron Man 3, Civil War, and Ragnarok.
Well, there's also the third Avengers movie.
Now,
I guess,
Ian,
but
Ian, I would say this is the best third in a series.
Your least favorite?
My least favorite? Thor: The Dark World.
no,
third.
Of the
third.
thirds.
Oh, fuck.
Of the thirds.
Civil War. You're gonna say it's the best one, really?
Here's the thing. I have some problems with Civil War.
Like, I'm genuinely, like what? Like, what?
Yeah.
What's your issues? I would like to know.
You want to talk about it not mattering? Civil War to me really doesn't matter. In fact, in Civil War, they kind of just changed their mind. I'm referring to the Sokovian Accords because Iron Man, fucking Tony Stark's like, all right, now you can go be Spider-Man now in your city, even though that's technically illegal. You're not registered with the government, but whatever, fuck it. You got shit like that. Captain America is kind of insufferable in it. He has no reason to not agree with the Accords. Personally, to me, I feel like he has no reason to not agree with the Accords.
It's only because of his attachment to Bucky.
no. I'll
No,
take it
because
further.
because Stark was gonna
guys, Iron Man 3. I'm saying this is gonna spiral.
quick.
I can feel it.
it will spiral because I strongly disagree. But
Let's finish
can talk
the
about this
review
right
and then
after,
we
yeah.
can have the fight. Okay.
sure.
Okay, sure.
So,
right, sorry.
Can
I just wanted to-
my question is: this the worst third movie out of the ones?
MCU.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'd rather watch Ragnarok.
No, I think this is better than Ragnarok.
I think it's on par
Real-
with Ragnarok.
I'm shocked.
Joke, when you got to remember, none of us really like Ragnarok.
I think this is on
Crazy.
par with Ragnarok. Ragnarok's a fine comedy movie. Like, it's not a great Thor movie, but it's a fine comedy movie. It has some fun elements, has some fun fights.
Then again, I guess Ragnarok tries to do more outgoing things. This
Yeah.
kinda stays
Ragnarok
pretty
has
tame.
a fucking identity.
It does. It decides on a path and it goes down it.
Yeah.
Whereas this one
It
is like,
goes hard.
should I go this way or that way?
It
I
goes
don't know.
hard. Not only do they give Thor a character arc, they rewrite his whole character.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
See, I have more emotional problems with Ragnarok than I do with this movie, but this
Yeah.
movie didn't make me feel as anything.
Ian,
So
I'm
Yeah,
with
this
you.
movie's empty calories.
I'm with you, Ian, that this is kind of comparable to Ragnarok. For different reasons.
Yeah.
They're both kinda
I
at the
just
bottom.
for pure style, I'd rather watch Ragnarok.
oh yeah, that movie's flawlessly gorgeous.
yeah. Anyways, Joaquin, it's your turn, buddy.
All right.
10.
Now, no.
I know.
No. So,
I disagree.
well, jeez,
I'm done.
Mud.
I'm done.
No,
Go.
I didn't want to interject for you because I think it would have gone on too long. I'm giving you the floor. If there's something you don't agree with
You're
me
wrong.
on,
I'm gonna disagree with you,
go
too.
right ahead. I
Okay.
want you to say it.
All right.
When Jake messaged me for it, and I was like, "Oh hell yeah, Iron Man 3, another reason to watch it." So, I'll start off with some counterpoints.
Okay.
The biggest one being, it doesn't really have a place in the MCU. Again, you guys have already posed the question, is that the fault of this movie or the movies that come after? I always believe that it's the fault of the movies that come after, unless it's so egregious.
Yeah.
This, to me, is not that egregious. It does kind of end on like a middle point. Iron Man resets, and I'm fine with that. I do believe that the Iron Man in this movie is heavily influenced in Civil War because he's like, oh my god, we blew shit up just to be cool. We can't just be doing that. This is a good stepping stone from that to Civil War. And, it not being faithful to the comics. When is a comic book movie ever faithful to the comics?
Watchmen.
Okay.
If I can interject before you give your example.
Yep.
It's literally panel for panel.
The Mandarin is Tony Stark's arch nemesis. If you make a Batman movie and fake out the Joker, or you make a Superman movie and fake out Lex Luthor, Like there's just
Oh,
something.
like Batman vs Superman?
No, he's Lex Luthor in that
That's
movie.
not Lex Luthor. Fuck you. That's not Lex Luthor.
Again, different argument for a different day. But there are some things that are just integral to a character's identity, and there's some things that like, yeah, I think you can change within
Within reason.
within reason.
Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be fucking Dr. Fu Manchu ripoff, like racial stereotype to hell. You're right. I agree with that. They shouldn't have done that to begin with.
Yep.
But to then just pull it all the way in the other direction, because I've seen a series where they did the Mandarin and he's not this like evil guy. You can even merge the two and make him like a fucking foreign businessman who wants the Iron Man suit.
You want another businessman?
More business! More businessman! Fuck it! Fuck it! I'm just saying. And
Fucking business.
it comes down to, why did they have to call him the Mandarin? They could have called him anything. And like the whole like, I am the Mandarin line, it just it doesn't mean anything. You know? And
Yeah.
it just feels like they use the Mandarin because people know the name to like get the clout.
Yeah. No,
But
I see
They
that.
didn't care enough to like understand that people would be upset if it's not actually.
Do you
the
mind if
Mandarin.
I say something in
Yes,
regards? Because this is going to be
always,
a long-ass
forever.
end talk. This might be its own video. It's so big. The thing is, in terms of, like, you compared it to, you know, Joker is Batman's nemesis, Lex Luthor is Superman's nemesis. The thing is, everybody in the world knows the name Joker, and everybody in the world knows the name Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Mandarin only appeals to people who like and respect the Mandarin, which, aside from, like, 80-year-old comic book readers, is just people who watched Iron Man Armor of Adventures. So the people who are Mud who went there, and yeah, I'm sure you were disappointed, and I'm very sorry, but this movie is not for you. It's for the mass audience, and the mass audience doesn't give a shit.
Again,
That's true.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's the same. Again, with my example, Spider-Man does not have organic webbing.
I think that's a change within reason.
I think this could be a change within reason. I see no reason why this change can't happen.
Because it's such a hard change that like the only thing you have left is the name, so why bother?
What? Why bother?
Like it's not like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man like doesn't actually have any spider powers and just beats the shit out of people like Daredevil.
I personally think the plot twist is really interesting. You're kind of having a front man, so you can go out and then you can go and do these things
But
without
he really
being...
doesn't need the man.
All right, Mud, let me ask you a question then. I only have questions. This is such a good topic. If this movie had the villain really be Aldrich Killian and aim and extremis the whole time, and he hired Bob to be his front man, and the villain was quote, quote, Bob for most of it, and then it was actually extremis, and they called it Iron Man 3 extremis or whatever, would that affect your score if it's the exact same movie?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Would it be better? Do you think it would be
Marginally.
Okay.
better? Okay. All right.
Maybe it'd be a 4.
Okay. I can't disagree with you on your opinion. You throw those counterpoints away. I don't see them. What I see here,
Your argument, throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
I disagree with it. It's garbage.
I pretend I do not see. What I see here is I see the best Iron Man movie. You actually see a lot of character growth within this movie because it does. Some of it is thrown away. That's not this movie's fault. I see Tony having anxiety attacks, and I can kind of. Obviously, I was not.
You've also been stranded in the vacuum of space.
No, no, I was not. But I can sympathize with Tony. I can understand what he's going through.
Yeah.
He's kind of failed to protect like the people around him. That's the biggest thing with like the ending. You know, Pepper dies. That's his biggest motivation.
Up until this point, Tony has not failed protecting people.
Civilians.
He lets the
Plenty
house...
of civilians.
Plenty of civilians, you're right, but the people closest to him, which is what you were arguing, no, he fucking saves everyone.
He doesn't save Maya.
Doesn't save Maya.
I think
Maya
nobody
doesn't.
likes
He
Maya.
gets fucking shot.
You gotta
But
remember,
He fucked her and
the
he
integral
fucking- you're
motivation of Tony Stark is the guilt he feels for manufacturing weapons that terrorists grabbed in Iron Man
Yep.
1.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
so
that'll
then he
always be with
manufactures a weapon.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And the paradox is pointed out in Civil War, and it's like this kind of thing that tears him up all the time.
I know.
So
Again,
in that
different
context,
film.
I totally buy his character and his mindset. And like I was saying, I believe that Tony believes he's retiring in this movie, but he didn't anticipate going right back into it. You
It's
know
like
what I mean?
Bobby Hill. I hear you, and I believe that you believe this is important.
Exactly like Bobby Hill. He's like, I'm retiring. I promise. I blew up the Iron
And
Man.
I
I'm not going
believe
back
that
to
you
it.
believe that.
Yep. And then next move, Age of Ultron. I'm building the biggest Iron Man you've ever seen. It's gonna have AI and an Infinity Stone. Oh shit, it's Ultron. Fuck.
No, he didn't plan on using the Infinity Stone.
No,
That
he
was
didn't.
old.
To
But
be
the
fair.
Infinity Stone
I'm
was there.
exaggerating a little bit, but still, the point stands.
Fun fact: he also makes the biggest one in that movie that fights the Hulk.
That's true. Same movie. Holy
He makes the most Iron Man. In that
And
movie.
Igor too.
Igor.
He loved
It's
him
actually
so
just
much.
Igor with 2 eyes.
He was so sad he had to
Igor.
blow up Igor.
Oh yeah, I love you.
Doesn't that mean the tower fell that he was supporting?
Oh fuck.
Oh yeah, it did.
Yeah, I'm just all right. I'll go through.
Yeah,
this
let's
really
wrap it up.
You got good action in this movie. Out of all 3 Iron Man movies, out of all the MCU, honestly, this has some of the best action. At least top 10. You gotta agree with me on that.
Oh, top 10 in
A series that has 22 films.
top 10 in the series. Has
Oh, yeah,
22
top
films.
half.
All right, like,
That's still a lot of fucking movies
and some
to
of
go
the
through.
action in these movies sucks.
Yes.
Captain Marvel, boring. Ant-Man, both Ant-Man actions, boring.
To
Black
see
Panther.
him jumping from suit
Black
to
Panther,
suit,
yeah.
that's super interesting to me. And I fucking love that. We don't ever get that again.
Joe Quinn, I'm gonna say it right now. I like this better rewatching it than I did in theaters with the fighting in the multiple suits.
Exactly.
I remember it being good, and I watched it again. I'm like, holy shit, this really is spectacular.
That's one of the reasons it's above a 5.
The Thor movies, aside from the Hulk fight, I can't think of any good fights in the Thor movies.
I think the first one's underrated. That's-
Yeah,
I do
I
agree
agree.
with that, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's underrated for its action.
I disagree.
Not for its action, no. You're right.
What?
But this
the
is
first
great
Thor slaps, all
First
right?
Thor's really
People
bad.
sleep on
No,
that
it's pretty
shit.
good.
Yeah,
It's
I-
action.
pretty
Ian,
damn
recommend
good.
Thor. I want to go
Yeah,
now.
Joe Quinn, come back. We're watching Thor.
Oh god.
The Dark World.
We get, all right, double down. Lightning round. Rhodey, he actually does stuff in this movie.
Yes.
Pepper, she actually does stuff in this movie.
Agree.
The story's pretty good. The acting is really good.
Most
Yeah.
of it, yes. I can
Fucking the music's really good. We couldn't
the
really
soundtrack, yeah,
we
no, the
couldn't
soundtrack
really
is
hear
really
it.
good.
Couldn't
Didn't
really
notice
hear it, but
No, I agree with Joe Quinn. There's
Yeah.
a couple points in this movie where I'm like, oh, the soundtrack's really nice.
Yeah.
You know how I am with soundtracks.
So
I'm in there.
I and again, I've been defending this movie throughout this entire watching, so I don't really need to get too far more deep into it.
Yeah.
I will never give a movie a 10. A movie can never be a 10 because
So
no
this
movie
one's a
will ever
9.9.
no movie will ever be perfect. This movie, I've been bouncing between my head between 8.5 and 9, and I really want to give it a 9.
Just give it
Do
a
it,
nine.
man.
Really
Just do it.
wanna
Give it a 10,
9.
Joe
Fuck
Quinn.
it.
I'm gonna. You know what? I'm giving it a 9. Iron Man 3 times 3.
Iron Man cubed.
I'm just going to throw this out there. You said it's the best Iron Man movie?
It's the best MCU movie. By
Better than
default.
Iron Man.
Best ever. Whoa!
Wow.
I've gone on record before, and I said Iron Man 3 is the best MCU movie.
9, Joe Quinn.
My Iron Man 3 bumped up above both Ant-Mans in my list.
I'm gonna have to move it as well.
I may be moving it above just Thor the Dark World.